Argentina and England this weekend, folks. This is a very important match, believe it or not, for world rankings points. I know half the people out there can't stand the world rankings and do not think they're important. However, the World Cup draw for the 2027 World Cup is happening at the end of this year or the start of next year. Either way, it's after November. Tests are done and before the Six Nations. Argentina are 5th in the world, England are 6th, which makes them both Tier 1 teams for the next World Cup draw, meaning these guys, if it stayed currently as it is, would not play the All Blacks, the Springboks, the French, the Irish, those top 4 sides. Whereas if you slip to 7th, suddenly you're guaranteed to have one of those teams in your pool. So neither of these teams wants to drop out of the top 6 in the world. But because they're playing each other, someone's going to lose points to the other one. They are playing a couple of matches, so I guess it could split and they could exchange them back to each other. But yes, it is an important match. More than just for the fact that Argentina and England want to beat each other at a rugby match. There are wider considerations for this one. The squads have been named. We'll go through them. Neither side is at full strength. The Argentinians obviously have to rest players with, a bunch of them playing their rugby in Europe and then a full rugby championship, so they don't get a proper kind of off season. And the English without a number of their British and Irish Lions players, plus a few injuries too. So it'll be interesting to see which depth proves to be the deeper one over in La Plata this weekend for the Pumas, who beat the British and Irish Lions, even with a bunch of debutants on the bench just a few weeks ago. They have named a pretty strong lineup with a few big guns missing, like I mentioned. They got Vivas, Montoya, and Delgado as their front row. Delgado is the least experienced of those guys, but they'll be looking to certainly at least hold their own at scrum time, because at times they were under a bit of pressure in that area against the Lions. Paulos and Rubiolo is another kind of new locking duo. We've seen a few different locking duos in Argentina in recent years. For a long time it was just Petty and Lavanini, and then this guy Molina came onto the scene. Rubiolo did play against the Lions, but Paulos did not, so it seems like a pretty big physical second row for mine. And then Matera, Gonzalez, and Issa. That is a hell of a good back row. Issa with the big old carries. Matera can do literally a bit of everything, and Gonzalez, like, he can do the aerial work, he can win turnovers, he gets line breaks. It is a great looking back row. You'd be very pleased from an Argentinian's perspective there. The 9-10 combo is a little bit more experienced than last time, although I did think Albonoz had a cracking game against the Lions, but it is Carreras who gets the shot at number 10 there. This time he switches from fullback to play 10. He'll be very familiar with the English guys, having playing his rugby in the Premiership, and then Bertrano takes over from Garcia at number 9. He's certainly more experience, that gets a lot more game time generally than Garcia. He'll be likely trying to control where the game is being played with that box kick of his. Picado and Cinti continue on in the midfield. Picado looked really good against the Lions, despite the fact that he was only going into that game, I think, with 1 cap to his name. So it's another chance for him here. And then Iscaro, the 7s man, on the right wing. Cordero, that's Santiago, on the left wing. And then a debut for Benjamin Elizade on the fullback position. He's a pretty big guy, plays his rugby for Bristol, so maybe expecting a few high balls and be contesting the ball with the likes of a Freddie Stewart. He's about 6'2", so what is that, like 190 odd centimeters tall, so pretty big guy. He'll need to be good in the air, you would think, up against a high-kicking English side. Bench-wise, Bernasconi, Gaggio, and Coria. Great to see Gaggio back, because that guy is a proper wrecking ball of a player when he gets ball in hand. Grondona continues to be the lock cover, as he did against the Lions, even though from when I've seen him play, he's usually a tall loose forward. Morrow is there as well as the loose forward replacement. And then Simon Benitez Cruz is a potential debutant if he comes off the bench, alongside Nicolas Rogier, who didn't play against the Lions, although Benitez Cruz did. And then Moroni is the veteran there in the 23 jumper. So it's a 5-3 split for the Pumas. They did find a way to really disrupt the British and Irish Lions line out, so they'll be looking to do that against England as well. And they were able to find a decent amount of space in the backfield. Plus, they are confident to run the ball out of anywhere. They didn't have a lot of possession and territory against the Lions, but they were still able to create opportunities playing very heads-up rugby. For England, they've also got a few guys getting their first caps, but the front row is more experienced in that regard, although not like really highly experienced, with Baxter, George, and Hayes. So Jamie George has a heck of a lot of caps, but both the props alongside him less so. Yules and Coles is a pretty big physical looking second row as well, so both sides should benefit from a bit of extra push from the second row at scrum time. Back row of Ben Curry, Sam Underhill and Tom Willis. That is a lot of tackling. It would not surprise me to see England kick and just get these guys to chase those kicks, put pressure on the catcher and try to win turnovers all day long. Would surprise me not one iota. Ben Spencer and George Ford is the 19 combo. George Ford's going to get his 100th cap for England, so that's massive. Big congratulations to him. Atkinson on the other end of the experience scale in the midfield will be getting his first cap. He did play against the French 15 the other day, so he's had a bit of a taste. Looked the right ball in hand. In the number 12 jersey alongside a veteran and Henry Slade outside him. And then Will Muir, another one of the uncapped guys, late to be getting his first international cap, but still a big congratulations to him on the left. Roebuck and Stewart round out the other two backs positions. So yeah, Stewart chasing high balls, and then the Lucies likewise on the kick chase. I feel like could be the order of the day here if they play relatively conservative. Theo Dan Bevanrod and Asha Apoko-Fajua are the front row replacements. There's a lot of excitement around Apoko-Fajua, so we'll see how he goes in terms of his impact role. Cunningham South is another guy who you're not, at least for me, I haven't watched anywhere near enough Premiership this year, but I'm not used to seeing him cover lock, kind of like the Argentinians with Grondona. It seems like more of a tall, loose forward to me, but you guys correct me if I haven't been watching enough games, and that's been a role that he's been fulfilling more. Guy Pepper, the 22-year-old, is on the bench as well after a pretty good season for Bath. And then Alex Dombrandt is the other forward on the bench, so it's a 6-2 split for them with Van Portfleet and Murley rounding out the other backs. As I said, England play a fair bit of kicking under Borthwick, but in the last two games of the Six Nations against Italy and Wales, you did see them play with a bit more possession, a little more in the carrying, a little bit less in the kicking, and they scored some tries from it. So we'll see if they're able to, we'll see if they decide to go that way this game, or if they opt to be a little bit more conservative. England have a good recent record over the Argentinians. The recent games, the last 5 of them, only one Argentinian victory there, albeit none of these recent games are on Argentinian soil. You know, England, Japan, England, France, and France. They played twice at the last World Cup, in the pool and then in the bronze medal match, which was a close one. The pool game was a cracking victory for England after an early red card from memory. But yeah, even the last match on Argentinian soil back in 2017 was a couple of wins for the English lads. So they've really had the wood on the Argentinians in recent years. But as I said, they are a little bit depleted with their missing Lions. Argentina are bringing in a few new faces as well, so it should be an interesting one. At La Plata, it's an afternoon kickoff over in Argentina, 4:40, so late afternoon, just before dinner, I guess, over there. For you guys in the UK, that will be an evening. For me, that'll be early morning, like 7:40, I think it is, over here in New Zealand. I'm not sure what order I'll be watching these games, because there's a bunch of overnight games for me as well, but I will no doubt tune in at some point. Argentina are the favourites with the bookies and with the algorithm. 8 points, say the bookies. 3 points, say the algorithm. So, yeah, predicted to be one of the closer games this weekend. Angus Gardner, the Aussie, is the ref. If you guys want any England gear, by the way, check out England Rugby Score down in the description. England Rugby Store. They are an affiliate of the channel. They've got all kinds of gear going. New season gear, ends of lines, all that kind of stuff. You guys check it out. Take care of yourselves. And yes, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.